Hello there, friends, and it's Tuesday, February 2nd, and happy Groundhog Day. This is also today's episode, or this week's episode of PD on Pop Culture. This is episode 10, and I want to talk to you about a show that I've watched the first season on Amazon Prime, and it's called The Boys. I want to say right up front, this is not a show for everybody. It's sexually graphic. It's violently graphic. There's a lot of language that's more than questionable. It can be a very tough show to watch. But let me set the stage for you a little bit. The show is about superheroes, and if superheroes were real. Now, we've seen this. If you've seen The Watchmen, it's the same kind of premise. They've actually touched on this in some other, even mainstream Marvel stuff like Captain America: Civil War, that sort of thing. But the basic premise is about power and the abuse of power, and because, as it turns out, the superheroes in our story are not really super people. They're pretty awful people, in fact. Now, as it turns out, also in this story, the folks that are fighting against the superheroes, not very nice people either. There's not a whole lot of nice people in this show. So it's hard to have kind of a rooting interest. But it did, the whole kind of premise of that abuse of power did spark me to look for a scripture. And I wanted to read to you. This is from 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 through 3. It's in the English Standard Version. It says, "So I exhort the elders among you as fellow elder and a witness of the suffering of Christ, as well as a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock." Folks, as Christians, I think this is what we're called to, right? We're called to be there for others, to exercise the power that we have to benefit others, and not to abuse that, not to abuse our position, to abuse any sort of status that we may have, however we've come upon that status, whether we're born with it, born into it, earn it, whatever, that we're still called to take care of one another. There's not a whole lot of that in this show. It's difficult to watch. There's 2 seasons of it on Amazon Prime. If you're so inclined, I've watched the first season. I'm not sure I'm going to watch the second season. I may not. Again, it's a tough show to watch. And there's not a whole lot of socially redeeming kind of stuff here. Very cynical look at America, a very cynical look at faith, a very cynical look at a lot of things. I certainly don't recommend it for everybody. Yeah, that's my take on it. I think folks, we need to be careful of how we're exercising our own power and things, how we're exercising our own status and our own position, that it's not just for ourselves but for others. And maybe maybe that needs to be heard a little further than just our church, huh? Anyway, take care and God bless, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye now.